And I have to go right away after. Oh no, I have a 3 o'clock right after.
You have to go to 3 o'clock right after. Welcome everybody to Extraordinary Lovers TV. We have to go right away at 3 o'clock. Let me go ahead and stop the music here. This is probably...
Go ahead, where's
By the way, that was Harris Heller. He does stream beats, hip hop, and all kinds of other kinds of really cool music tracks for us. And it's all free. It's all royalty free. We don't have to pay for it, which is great.
I feel like I'm Gracie Allen and you're George Burns. What happened to our bumper?
Oh, I couldn't get it to work.
Oh.
By the way, we had technical difficulties this morning. I have been working on this all morning to try and get this stupid thing to work, and it won't work. So OBS is giving me problems. I didn't have enough time or fortitude to try to really...
OBS, oh big stupid.
Open broadcast. Studio. Oh, this is going to be a fun show.
Do a hand scream.
Well, hello, my love.
Hi.
Welcome back. May I kiss you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should probably tell everybody what we're up to today.
I thought we were going to be talking about seduction as a team sport, but I think we were talking about some other things too, and you said you wanted to blow off steam.
I felt like today would be a great day to just answer questions. Hi, Careza. Hello. I thought it would be a good time to just blow off some steam and just chat with the chat, you know? So... Chrissy is in the chat. She's running the chat for us. She's got plenty.
And she's laughing because I called it "Oh Big Stupid" instead of all this technology OBS.
Yeah, it's one thing to.
Or I could call it "Oi Big Stupid."
Oi Big Stupid. It's one thing to try to run a Twitch TV show and have it be interesting and produce topics and all the things and then have to deal with the technology as well. So, my goodness.
You needed to do that anyway since last night.
Oh my gosh.
He was yelling in the car last night. I'm telling on him. He was yelling at me because he thought my driving was bad. So he was like yelling at me, reminded me of learning how to drive.
She kept saying, my father used to call me stupid and all these things. And I'm going, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying you almost hit that car.
She's like, he's screaming, stop! What are you doing? And I was like, it was just the same way
I was not screaming. I did not say that. I said, honey, you're about to hit that car. Turn the wheel. Stop.
No, but you didn't say it nice.
No, I did. I did. I said, stop. You're going to hit the car. I didn't yell. I was about this loud.
Yelled.
I promise. Anyway, after she finally parked the car, we went into the restaurant and we went to Nick's last night and we had a lovely Italian dinner. It was so beautiful.
That's what I was hunkering for.
My poor lover. She's like, you were making me scared because you were yelling at me. I'm like, oh, I didn't raise my voice though.
I felt like you needed to do a hand scream since last night, so it's good that you just did it.
You know, among other things that happened, last night, this morning, and things like that. So yeah, if it wasn't for all the people in this world, things would be much easier for me.
Shut up.
Where's the bell?
I don't know. Where is the bell?
I'm going to go get the bell.
You're the setup person for this set.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I left the bell.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, Chrissy said, what a thing to say. If it weren't for all the people in this world. If there weren't for all these people in this world, nothing would be interesting. Life would be boring.
Yeah, and at the same time, life might also be more serene in some ways.
You'd be so lonely.
You think so?
What would you do for sex if there were no people in this world?
I got two hands. What?
You would self-pleasure.
I would self-pleasure. Pleasure is my birthright, and it's up to me, not anybody else.
That's right.
And thank you so much for the pleasure. Yeah, y'all don't know. Oh, she said, that's so funny. I can see both sides of this. Yeah. Honestly, there are times, and we built this into our relating and how we are with each other, but there are times where I just need to go away and not be around people. And it's so funny because I don't see myself as someone who's, who doesn't like people. What's that called when you're
Hermit?
No, not a hermit. When you don't like people,
Antisocial.
You actually hate people. That's not me. I'm not antisocial. However, there are times where I just need to pull away from everything, social media, human beings, all technology, and just go away and be by myself. And that entails a good book, something I can have my hands on, some lube and a towel.
And your phone for some porn.
Well, not always.
Right.
I've got a pretty good...
I like how you said that, not always.
I've got a pretty good stash
Not
of memories.
always.
I've got a stash of memories.
That's good.
That does quite well.
How about fantasies?
Oh, yes. I have fantasies.
You do?
You know them.
I do. I
Yeah.
know everything about you.
You know many things about
All
me.
right.
I don't know that you know everything. I don't even know everything about me. I don't know everything about you. I know a few things about you, but
Yeah.
I know what you like to watch at night.
All right, let's go to our subject matter. This is too crazy.
Right. Well, you go first.
All right, so today are we talking about seduction as a team sport?
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to be talking about at the ISTA
Sure, we'll give a little preview of
at
what
the
we'll
ISTA festival,
of what we'll be
which
talking
is-
about at the ISTA festival. By the way, if you haven't signed up for the ISTA festival, I think you can go to ista.life, or what's the...
No, you have to. It's a Facebook event.
Oh,
Hold on, I'll tell you where you actually could type it in. I'm going to tell you what it is.
okay.
Yeah, it's going to have loads of wonderful speakers.
I didn't know we were going to bring this up, Chrissy. I didn't know. She usually puts the...
Oh, yeah, but I'm taking you by surprise here because...
That's right.
Yeah. So hang on a minute. I'm going to get the correct information.
Okay. Anyway, the ISTA Online Festival happened last year. We had, 1,200, 1,500 people attend?
Something.
It was
Something
a
like
really,
that.
really good festival put on by a dear
ISTA.
friend. Yeah, ISTA, but the organizer is a dear friend.
There's more than one organizer.
This year, yeah.
No, there's always been. Here.
Oh.
It's this is the link.
Here, let's get it open.
Why, don't you want to see that?
Oh, that's the whole thing. Okay.
You can go to this ISTA Online Festival and you can see who all the speakers are and some of what they're going to speak about and make your choice about whether you want to go. It's very inexpensive, and I think they have a sliding scale, for people, there's a full price and then there's a price for people who have financial needs. Did you get it up there?
Yeah.
Great. So that's where you can... So we're going to be speaking about seduction as a team sport at the ISTA Online Festival.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also here answering questions. So if you have any questions or there's a thing happening in your life that you'd like to share with us, and maybe we can either help you with it, or we can discuss it, and you can solve the whole thing yourself. So seduction is a team sport.
So we think that couples are an endangered species.
Yes.
One of the reasons that we do this broadcast is because we think couples are an endangered species, and most of the work that we do together has to do with couples and our premise that couples are endangered. And they're endangered for many reasons.
Yeah.
Why?
Major reasons are their communication styles, the way they communicate. Another one is that
Not always.
they seem to have this this missing of actually being heard or being seen or being acknowledged
Or appreciated.
And women have different sets of that need, or the feminine rather has different sets of that need, and the masculine has another set of those needs. And so what we do is we really do highlight all that and then bring it together and say, how can you communicate? How can you acknowledge one another? How can you be like an extraordinary lover, someone who is attentive to all of the brilliant, beautiful things that your partner does and is. And so this is a whole different mindset than just being in a relationship. You know, this is my partner. We introduce each other before we start any of our programs. And what that does for me,
We edify each other.
I'm speaking about this amazing human being who is accomplished, who is beautiful, sexy, young, vibrant, intense. That's how I speak about my beloved. And when she turns it back on me, it feels so good to have her say some of the same things, and it feels honoring. It really does.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we do, but let's define the problem even more.
Well, the problem is that doesn't happen a lot in relationships.
Right.
You know.
Actually, people think it's really cute to complain about each other in front of other people. So didn't we talk about this last week?
I think we did.
We said we know a couple who keep score on each other and all the things that they do wrong. And then
it's like, what's the point of that?
We have friends who fight with each other constantly, and they fight with each other in front of us, and they fight with each other at home, and then they it's like, what?
Why are you fighting? In fact, one of our apprentices, her name is Liz, our apprentice Liz, she's an amazing, extraordinary lover. And I mentioned the other day, I said, we don't fight. And she was like, we said this last week, we don't fight. And it's really true.
We said it on air, yeah.
We don't fight. In fact, if you go back a couple of shows, you'll see Laurie and I actually work something out live on that show. Well, it's recorded now, but it was
about
live.
A boundary.
It was about boundaries.
We set a boundary. We did a bubble, and we set a boundary with each other. So we really don't fight. Even, we just don't fight. We don't have. We've chosen not to.
And we say fighting is ordinary. Fighting is something that everybody does. Why are you fighting? What are you fighting for? Like, are you fighting for a position? Are you fighting because you think you're right? Are you
fighting with your mother or father or somebody that had power over you?
Out of habit? Are you fighting with each other out of habit? Some people fight because it's a habit.
I used to fight because I didn't know any better. Like, I grew up fighting for my right to speak. I grew up fighting with my father about everything, and like, just to be different, just to be like, I don't agree with you, like, shut up, I grew up fighting. And so then I was told by a community that I could stop fighting now, and I didn't even know I was still fighting all the time. Sometimes it's just like a habit, fighting.
Yeah. Well, it's a cultural thing too. So, as you were speaking, I was thinking to myself, isn't it interesting that everything we do is a war, or we're fighting this and we're fighting that, and it's the fight for women's rights, it's the fight for, civil rights, it's the fight for, LGBTQ rights. These are all fights that we're in, and culturally we're driven to this. It's really strange. And to me, it seems like we can fight all those things, and those are valid, and you really are doing some fighting, but we don't have to fight each other.
Well, Chrissy's writing in here. Carezza wrote something, too, about, like, keeping scores for board games. Right on, Carezza.
That's right.
Keeping scores for board games. It's not for each other, like, you did this wrong thing, and now I've got the scorecard on you. And what happens at the end? You cash out. And what do you get? You certainly don't get like the jackpot like you would get in Vegas.
Winner, chicken dinner.
No, now what do you have to do? Like give a blowjob or something because you have 5 demerits on the scorecard? I don't know. There's something. And can you imagine what that blowjob would be like? You have to do this now, bitch, because I kept score on you.
You owe me.
So, and that now Chrissy's talking about being, saying she doesn't fully love herself yet. Like, this starts with self-love. She's uncomfortable about her own. But Chrissy, you know what? Yeah, you're just coming into all of this and you're learning it, but you're like a super fast learner.
Yeah.
So you're getting what you've been missing. I mean, Chrissy, can you imagine? I didn't even find Tantra until I was 46. I didn't even know there was such a thing as boundaries until I was like over 50. So you're coming into it at the perfect time. And everything starts with self-love. I thought I loved myself. If you asked anybody or you asked me back then, I would have said, of course I love myself. But nothing like I do now.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where relating begins. Like, I have to love myself enough to love myself into saying things to you that I might have tried to people please before, instead of saying, hey, this is my boundary, or I need to make love now, or don't talk to me like that in the car, whatever it is. Like, I have to love myself enough to start speaking my truth. Yeah. And so, and that, is this part of seduction?
Maybe. I mean, so here's the thing, and this is really perfect that you mentioned this, Chrissy, because when it comes to boundaries, that really does require self-love. Being able to hold that space and state, I don't know if you remember Lord of the Rings when Gandalf says, "You shall go, no, you shall not pass," right? Like it's that. It's being able to say, I love myself and this is not going to happen to me. Now, one of the biggest things that I battle in this is a real fight in my own person, is feeling like I'm enough, or even more to the point, feeling like I'm not, I forget what it's called. It's imposter syndrome. Like, I don't belong here. I don't have the right credentials, or some of those things that I look into myself and go, I question myself. Now, I don't know if you have a lot of that, but I'll tell you this, it's hard to give up. It's not easy. And it does. It takes that work of saying to yourself, I am enough.
You have to interrupt the negative self-talk.
And reframe it. You are enough. I mean, you are a miracle of evolution. 400 quadrillion to 1 chance of you actually being here. Of the sperm going and meeting the egg, that particular sperm meeting that particular egg happening, any of that is a huge, huge miracle of evolution. So one thing that you can say is that you're a 400 quadrillion to 1er. So, and that gives you rights to be on this planet.
That makes you a miracle.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you love yourself? Well, that becomes a practice. Laurie has trained hundreds of people in this. Thousands. In how to actually make love, self-love, a practice. And that's what we're doing here, because when you go to an extraordinary lovers experience, we tell people this experience is going to start out with the 3 thresholds of love. That's self-love, love of your partner, and then love that manifests. And it all starts with, just like Careza said, self-love. Totally. And then, mixed up in there, we have this topic called... I think it was
Chrissy who said that.
Was it Chrissy? Okay,
yeah.
I apologize. Chrissy said that. Inside of this this whole thing that we teach, we do this thing called Seduction as a Team Sport. And you and I we play that. It's a game. It's sort of a game.
Right, but we don't have a score like you did this wrong or you did that wrong. We don't keep score that way. It is a game.
Yeah.
I see all of life as a game, and I play to win, but not to beat you. I just play to win, like, okay, what else can I do?
Well,
what else can I take on? What other challenge can I take on?
what if the metric is how much pleasure you experienced instead of whether or not you won? Like, or that is a win. So you experience this level of pleasure. You feel gotten, connected, intimate. You feel close. You feel adored. So if you're hitting all those metrics, you're winning at that game, seduction. True?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so tell us how you do seduction.
How do I do seduction? Oh, well, I might say, I want to have a date.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way I do seduction. And then I might say what I want to happen on that date. I might send you a chapter to a book of sexy, a sexy writing book.
Mm-hmm.
I might send you a clip of something I want to try that I saw on Twitter.
I like those.
You do?
Particularly, yeah.
Oh, you never really said how much you like them. Uh-oh, it's happening now. There's seduction happening.
I really like those.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they turn me on. And then I get to surprise you with it when we do make love.
Mm-hmm.
And so so when you do that, did you know that when you do that, you give me just a little bit of extra stuff that I can kind of put into the mix of our lovemaking and create a bake a cake. I get to bake. I'm gonna bake a love cake. So yeah, you got to give me some of those ingredients.
Okay. Anyway, so that's how I do. Let's see, how else? How else I seduce you by dressing in special clothing.
Yeah.
Um,
Or special non-clothing.
Well, it's clothing now. It's a costume.
That's true.
And then I also sometimes I just crawl into your bed.
Right. That's always. Oh, I do the same thing.
I know. We're not talking about you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I feel like I also seduce you through showing you affection and admiration, and giving you the love language that you want.
Yeah.
Like you want me to say good job to everything, so I just say good job to everything.
Well,
that's good.
Everything that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I don't say good job.
Yeah.
Good job yelling at me last night in the car.
Now that sounds like it's a cough up.
It isn't. I already coughed it up.
Yeah. Well, maybe I need to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did I not say I'm sorry?
No, you didn't. You defended. You said I wasn't yelling.
I did defend, yeah. Maybe we'll do that later.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, great ideas for being seductive. So you're seducing me. And you know what? The concept for both of us has always been that, I'm an active participant in this. And what's great about it is Laurie identifies, I think, and says really well that so often it's always one partner in the partnership that's the seducer, and it's like they're the one that's expected to do it. So for me,
no, I feel like both people have to do it, or if you're in more than one in a couple, if you're 3 people or 4 people, everyone has to do it.
Everyone does.
Not one person is expected. Right. There's a comment here though by Carezza that I think I don't want to ignore.
Right.
Which is about fighting against something. It's really about what you're for. Like, what are you standing for? Yeah, if I'm standing for freedom and love on the planet, then that's a fight that I'm willing to, I'm like a warrior for that. But I agree with you. Like, what are you fighting for, but not fighting against? So I'm not fighting against Michael. I would fight with him to if I thought he was blind to some place in which he was crippling himself. I would then I would be willing to fight for that, Greza. I feel like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I would be willing to fight against an enemy who was trying to harm him.
Absolutely.
I would be willing to fight and have actually fought, fighting with some people who might have misunderstood him, and he wasn't there to defend himself.
Yeah, and I've done the same for you. I've actually
Right.
fought with people, not physically, but I've let people know who have insulted and mistreated Laurie, that in no uncertain terms would I allow that. And so, yeah, fighting in those situations are absolutely true. And I agree that fighting for something is different than fighting against someone for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And for you and I think it's come down to where that actually does lead us towards being able to seduce each other. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you got shit against each other, if you're holding on to stuff against each
Yeah,
other.
like I have a stockpile that has your name on it.
Seduction as a team sport doesn't really matter. It's not available. You know what I mean? It's seduction that has freedom to move within the relating, because there's not stuff holding you back. There's no
I don't have any withholds.
you keep it clean, right? And
Yeah.
and that's something that as a practice you and I do. We'll actually ask each other from time to time, is there anything you're withholding? And not like there is, or that you're detecting that
Or
there is.
suspicion.
It's just a question. Hey, is there anything you're withholding? And then you just stop for a moment and go, let me check. And you look into your body, and we do this. We look into our bodies and go, you know what? There is something. And it'll just pop up and go to the surface, and then we discuss it. And after we discuss it, we come to a solution.
And we take action.
And we come back to love. So if anything, if we could teach people anything, it would be return to love. Find ways. Be creative in ways to return to love, not in ways to beat down your partner, to do harm, but to really just love each other in that space. Right? Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girl, I love you.
Thank you.
You know that's true. Girl, you know it's true.
You're so funny.
Well, that's another way I seduce. I'm funny. Be funny. Sometimes you need to be light too, right? Sometimes people got to just lighten up. Lighten up.
All right, well, it's your turn to say how you seduce. You didn't say.
I seduce you because by the way I hold you, by the way I look at you, by the way I touch you, and by the way I respond to your seduction. So when she writes me something that's really hot, and by the way, when she writes things like that are now moment kind of things, like last night Michael did this, or
No, I put it in the third person. I say he did this
right
to her.
Yeah.
I speak about it like they're other characters.
Yeah. And there, I've got one that I really like where, you were talking to me like in a letter. Anyway, but most of the time you do. And so what I'll do is I'll respond to that with a letter back. And we've now done this, I don't know how many times, and we actually probably have enough content in this.
We have a book.
Back and forth that
we have a sexy book.
There's a book available. We haven't put it together, but
I have it.
Yeah, I do too.
I have it labeled by
She's got
chapters.
a copy and I got a copy.
Yeah.
So that's one way that I do seduce you. Another way I seduce you is I sneak into your room.
There's no sneaking. I can hear you.
I sneak. I'm sneaky. I'm that loud? Fuck. I keep thinking I'm sneaking in. I'm like...
No, I hear you. I'm a super sound sleeper, but if someone's entering my room, I wake right up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I have good awareness. So
let's ask the chat. Chat, how do you seduce your lover? How do you seduce your partner? What are some of your seduction techniques? I think there's other little things that I do as well. Like in the morning, I'll get you hot water ready, or things like that. And that seems
you'll
nice.
do things for me, nice things.
Nice things. but really it's me seducing you, letting you know that I love you. I'll leave little notes in your laptop.
I have to give our chat an update. Last week, I think I said, was it last week or the week before? I said, he doesn't buy me flowers. I like flowers. Did I say it on here?
I think you did, yeah.
I said he doesn't buy me flowers because he doesn't get it. Like, he's not really into
I don't know which flowers to get you.
He doesn't know which flowers to get. Meantime, this week he bought me 2 bouquets of flowers.
Because I wasn't sure what to get.
So he bought carnations and he bought mums. And the mums were particularly gorgeous. They were all different branches of different color mums. They're in my office. They're beautiful. Oh. So I said, wow, you're a guy who doesn't buy flowers, and now you did. And he said, yeah, because I didn't want you to say live on TV that I don't buy you flowers. So now I do.
I do buy you flowers now.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I can't say that.
I never had a boundary for it, except I just never knew what kind of flowers to buy you. Careza says that she seduces with games and sexy striptease.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Well, I don't know what kind of games you mean, though. Like,
yeah.
I'd like to,
Like share what kind of games you play,
strip
Careza.
Poker?
Strip poker. How about strip Uno?
Strip Uno.
Have you ever played Uno?
I don't know how to play any games like that.
No card games? I have an Uno.
I don't know how to play any games.
Do you want to play Uno with me tonight?
Strip Uno?
It'll be Seduction Uno.
Okay.
So if I win a hand, I get a kiss.
Okay.
And if I win 2 hands in a row, I get a kiss and a touch. And then I get a kiss and a touch, and I'm pretty good at Uno. So
I don't know how to play Uno.
We'll figure it out.
I don't know how to play card games either, but I do know how to play blackjack.
Oh, well, that's a card game. Yeah.
I know, but I only know how to do it if I go into a casino.
Do you know? You don't know how to play rummy? You don't know how to play spades, hearts? Do you know how to play hearts? No?
No.
Wow, okay. Well, I can teach you a few of these. Yeah. Strip Jenga? Oh my gosh. Woman.
What is Jenga?
Strip Jenga? You've never played Jenga?
No.
It's that thing with the wood that you take out and then it'll fall over.
Oh, I played it with you in a karaoke place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were at the...
And I've played it at Hedonism.
Bridget's Last Stand, yeah.
They have it in the naked pool at Hedonism. It's plastic ones. And people hang around this table that's in the pool. And they put that out and then people do it. And then if you lose, you have to drink. Yes, I've played that. I didn't know what it was called.
Careza plays Naked Twister too. So,
Careza, we need to.
Are you already naked? Are you already naked?
We need to hang out with you more.
Yeah, for show.
We want you to come on the show.
Yes.
Maybe you could come on the show and give seduction tips.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how badly the hookup culture and I grew and screwed up my way of thinking. Yeah, the hookup culture, I think that means like this, swiping.
Are you talking about like, so Chrissy, are you talking about like Tinder or, how, fortunately for us, we didn't grow up in a hookup culture, although we had free love in the 60s and, but.
I grew up in that.
Yeah. So maybe that's another version of a hookup culture.
We hooked up. I mean, we could just, I can remember like saying to somebody, what are you doing this afternoon? Okay, come over, let's have sex.
Yeah.
Like that. But, so there was lots of those, but I didn't take them too seriously. That was just like who I was currently doing or who was currently doing me. But
did that screw up your way of thinking in any way? Until you got into Tantra and started learning about sacred
When I got into Tantra, everything changed.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say that. I should actually post that on the Facebook group of Sex and Happiness.
Journey through, yeah.
When I got into Tantra, that's when I got self-love. That's when I got like, wow, my body is a temple. Mm-hmm. And then I get to say who enters the temple and who doesn't enter the temple, and I got a greater self-value, so I didn't just hook up anymore. Yeah. Actually, I had less sex when I knew more about sex. I had less sex when I knew more about me and what were really my desires, and when I was developing boundaries. So all of a sudden everything changed. But until a person gets that, they just don't get it. So I guess I was part of a hookup culture.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it differently. I used to go to a bar and meet someone. Then I worked at bars, so I met everybody.
Yeah.
And I would decide, who I wanted to go home with then.
Yeah,
at the end of the night.
I forgive me for saying it, but I can't relate because in those early
You got
years,
married.
I got married fairly early on, and I was also like a born again Christian. Like that's how I was a believer, and so there was no hookup culture for me. Although I hooked up a lot when I was in the military. I mean, that was
Yeah, that's like the joke. Why does a dog lick his balls? Because he can.
Because he can.
So you were in the military, you were wearing a uniform, you looked cute, and you were in Virginia Beach, which is like a party town.
Oh, yeah.
So, you did that. You were hookup. That's before you got married.
That's a hookup culture for sure.
But you started... Hi, Tanya.
Tanya's in. Thanks for following us, Tanya.
Tanya!
Oh, you guys are going to love Tanya. She's coming on the show very, very soon. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
So, you hooked up and then you just decided not to. You got married and then you got into, heavily into born-againism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I did that for a couple decades. So, here, Chrissy says, like at age 14, people around me were having sex and not respecting each other. And that was the norm.
See, I didn't, you're right, Chrissy, there is a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have sex till I was 18 and I thought I was a grown up. But we were doing things, we just weren't having intercourse. We weren't doing, we were getting messed up in the back of a car.
Yeah.
But we weren't actually doing the thing.
Oh, man.
We weren't having intercourse. You were doing it at 14.
I was doing it at 13. I lost my virginity when I was 13. The first time I ever got to touch and kiss and hug and do things like that.
I didn't babysitter.
I didn't have intercourse, but I was with my babysitter, and I was 11 or 12. And she was 16. She was so cute. Anyway, some people would say, "Oh, that's terrible."
Some people would
I
say
didn't mind.
Some people would say that is that's abuse.
Some people would say that. And I would disagree with them. I would say, I was 11 or 12. I think I was 12 and she was 16. But I would, for my age, I was taller and bigger, and I was into it.
You were cute.
I really enjoyed it.
Cuter.
I don't know where she is today or what she does or anything like that, but I could say this: I enjoyed it.
And Caressa says she was a late bloomer, always saw sex as something meaningful. Me too. Mm-hmm. But sometimes hooked up to find not intimacy, which always turned out to be just
a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, I always thought that, once I knew what it really was, I thought there was more to it. But I couldn't find anybody that would relate to me and talk about it. Either the girls that I was friends with were scared or they were hiding that they were doing it.
Right. Yeah.
And I can remember parents going away. Someone's parents went away and then we all had a party at their house. And, everyone went to different rooms and we called it making out.
Right.
Like we would kiss and roll around, but I didn't actually do it. But I found out that everyone else did. But I didn't. How would I know? No one talked about it. They were all hiding. There was shame. The thing we're trying to do is take the shame out of it, and take the being able to come forward and say, "Look, I like sex. Sex is good for us. Sex is natural." To naturalize everything that's part of the body is what we're trying to educate. Yeah. So the thing is, there's all these past feelings of oh my God, I might have hooked up. Oh, it might have been not meaningful. Oh, I might have had a one-night stand. Oh, I might, I can remember, listen, I'm just going to really tell on myself. I can remember meeting somebody at a Latin club where I was doing salsa and bringing this person home with me and then saying, "Would you mind leaving before daylight?" Like, I don't really want to wake up with you. I said that.
So it didn't bother you when I said it to you, huh? No, I'm kidding. I never said it to you.
I didn't say it. You know, I said it to this person because, like, literally, I was horny. My hormones were working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to, like, hook up, but I didn't want to, like, really confront who this was.
Right.
Like, the person. And so, yeah, I've done that. I guess we could judge that, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's just like a way of being. And then Tantra came into my life. And when Tantra came into my life, I just redefined everything. You know, in my second level, I'm glad that amused you, Chrissy, that I did that. In my second level Tantra training, I went to Mexico for a week. And it really got in. It got into me. And I went, when I go home, I'm changing everything. Mm. And I put a hibiscus in my hair. And not this hair. I had much longer hair. I put a hibiscus in my hair. And I said, I don't even care if the hibiscus closes up while I'm on the airplane. Like, this is going to remind me to change everything. And I went home. I got rid of my living room furniture. I created a temple.
Wow.
I changed my bedroom. I changed my wardrobe. I got more into my feminine. I spoke more my truth. I said no to opportunities that I had to have sex, which didn't seem to be meaningful. Everything changed.
Yeah.
And people who knew me were like, wow, you're different. Mm. And that's, and that's just it. That's what I did. And, oh, you have thought it, but you never said it. Could you leave before morning? Listen, you know what? That was my truth back then. And
Well, I want to speak to the shame part of it, because the shame part of it is the part that I feel like most people are experiencing, like have experienced, and there's a past. And, I look back on my past and how I had to fail my way forward in the world of sex and intimacy and trying to become a better lover. There were times when I was, coming to where I am today. I don't want to say coming up, but coming to where I am today, where I failed miserably, and I said and did things that were just, and the sex that I had many times was meaningless, except that there were the, physical benefits, all the good stuff that you get from sex.
Yeah,
right?
You get the oxytocin, the serotonin, the dopamine.
Where it didn't fit was where I couldn't allow that to just be what it was a good time. And many of the women that I had sex with, I would do what a lot of guys would do if I didn't want to be in a relationship with them. You
ghosted them.
Which is to ghost them.
I never even heard of that.
Or limit my communication and conversation and with them. And that's why men, like a lot of women, are like, men are just dogs. We're assholes. We ghost women instead of being straight up.
This is why I think men do it.
From the very beginning.
My friend Tina back in Washington, D.C. once said this to me. Mm-hmm. Men do the whole thing like in their head. Like they have sex and then they project it all the way to marriage and divorce.
That's true.
Like they go, I had sex with her. Now I'm going to have to call or text her. In those days, we didn't have text. I'm going to have to call her, and then I'm going to have to call her again. Then I'm going to have to take her to dinner. Then I'm going to have to take her to dinner again. And then I'm going to be expected to bring flowers, propose, marry her, and like...
run the whole game.
I don't know if I love her, so I would have to get a divorce, so I don't think I'll call her back. That men would just do this is like timeline therapy.
Yeah.
They would do the whole timeline and then come back and go, no, erase.
Well, then the other
I'm not calling her again. I'm not going to text her again. And women don't do that.
No.
Women look to see, is this somebody I want to be with? Mm-hmm. Is this somebody that I'd like to be with again?
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow, Andy.
Hi, Andy. We're talking about, we're talking about seduction, and now we're talking about things people did, earlier in their life, like about sex before they knew any better.
Shame in the past.
Sexual
shame in the past.
Yeah, first of all, there's no point in holding on to any of it.
That's what I was going to get to.
So first of all, if you ever ghosted anybody,
Yep.
whether you're female or male, whether you're in the feminine, masculine, or in both, if you ever ghosted anybody, forgive yourself right now.
Right.
Just forgive yourself. Secondly, if you ever had a one-night stand, you didn't care about the person, you didn't want to see them in the morning, they stayed till morning, or you asked them to leave like I did, forgive yourself. You cannot... women ghost as well. They
That's
do. Right. So...
Forgive your past.
Or women do other things. Women say... We used to say, I can't go out with you. My hair is dirty. I can't go out with you. Whatever. Women would just, or I actually once gave somebody the wrong number. I did that.
Stop right there.
I gave someone my wrong phone number, and then I saw him again.
That has happened to me.
And he confronted me.
That has happened to me many times.
The man confronted me, and he said, I know you gave me the wrong number. I know you did. And I was like, I turned red, bright red. He knew where he could find me, so he knew that he could confront. And I had to apologize. I apologized.
Wow.
So I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I speak my truth. I mean, that's part of my teachings.
But this is one of those things where it lands square in the category of, why are we working so hard to have sex? Why is it such a hard thing to do when you couldn't just make agreements and say, I'm going to need a call tomorrow morning? That would make me feel like I'm not some kind of a tramp.
Or I'm not into you. I don't want to have sex with you. You know, clearly you're attracted to me. I'm not attracted to you. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give you my phone number.
Right.
Why couldn't I just say no?
Well, that's the thing.
What was the people-pleasing piece?
That's the thing that I think a lot of women find themselves in that, I don't know, in that problem area.
Yeah.
Where you don't want to not be nice. So have sex with the guy. I mean, don't do that. Or he's seductive, or he's a pickup artist, or something like that. And there's guys like that really are good at, talking women up.
I'm going to talk about one of my situations. I used to. Someone says here that there was a.
Oh, that was Chrissy.
There was a phone number that they used to give people when they didn't want to say no. So I'm going to tell you one of the things that I. Now I forgot what it was.
Oh,
Wait a minute. I was on a train and I just the bell took me out. I don't know what happened. I just forgot.
The
one of the
train.
things that I did.
Besides.
Oh no! One of the things that happened to me. So I was a bartender in Adams Morgan. If any of you know Washington D.C., then you know the Adams Morgan section. Mm-hmm. And Adams Morgan is where all the great restaurants are, and the bars are, and clubs are, and everything. It's a fabulous part of D.C., of the nation's capital. And I worked at the most popular jazz club in Adams Morgan, and a guy came in one night, and he was sitting at the bar, and he was very attractive, and he asked for my number, and he said some good things and whatever, and I gave him my number, and he said, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and he never called. And I was like, I thought, wow, I had some potential with this guy. I was very attracted to him, and I just liked how he was. Anyway, a year later, he came back in there. He apologized.
Wow.
He said, I'm sorry. We didn't have ghosting then, so he didn't say, I'm sorry I ghosted you. He just said, I'm sorry, I should have called you. And I could tell he was scared, like he really had a huge attraction to me. So he said, I'm really sorry, can you forgive me? I said, yes. And he said, I'll call you tomorrow. Give me your number again. And I made the same mistake.
He didn't call?
He didn't call. And it was like...
If you're in the chat right now, whoever you are, you're a dick.
So that really hurt.
Yeah.
That was like, wow. Really? You're going to come a year later and do the same thing and set me up? so that happened, and it really, really hurt. And
Yeah.
did I ever hurt anybody? Yes, I sure did. And did we ever? Yes. And so we need to forgive ourselves. I have to forgive myself for liking that guy.
Yeah. Look into your past and just give yourself a
Give
break.
yourself a break.
Yeah.
Yes, he missed out on me. That's right. Thank
Yeah.
you. Chrissy, he missed a great thing.
Thank you, by the way, for missing out on Laurie. I'm really, really grateful. I'm seriously thankful. I mean, I would kiss your feet. No, I wouldn't, but thank you.
It's part of the growing process. It's part of what makes us who we are, all of it. The hurts, the victories, the celebrations, the what we were talking about yesterday, the when we need to grieve.
Oh, yes.
Like I had to grieve that. I had to grieve the possibility of what I saw with this person, at least a great hookup, but maybe more. All of it is right, Andy. It's just life.
It's just life. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And we have to just let it go.
So then there's this part where, okay, you let it go. Now what? Right?
Well, I meet someone new and I say, if I'm going to give you my number, are you going to use it?
Well, I look at it this way, apart from the number, I look at it this way. If you meet somebody that you like, and let's start with seduction right away, because if you're interested in that person, one of the things, because I work with men, and one of the things that I hear women say is, sometimes men are creepy. Sometimes, they're attractive, they're good looking, but they're not, something's not aligned here. And really what I feel is the problem is that men, we don't acknowledge our attraction to women. We don't acknowledge that I have desire for you. And
see, anyone who's ever said that to me, I'm really attracted to you.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear what they had. I wanted to talk to them. When they were creepy about it,
they were hiding the attraction.
They were hiding the attraction or the sexual attraction part.
Right.
I felt like, okay, there's something not being said here, and now we're going to have to play games.
Yeah.
So we're back to game playing, Caressa, but it's not the kind you were talking about.
Well, Andy brings up a good point. Yeah, men are scared to do it. It's rejection that we don't want to have. But here's what's really great about this, and that is when you're masculine, when you're being masculine, you don't really have to do any of that. I think one of the cool things that you and I...
What do you mean you don't have to do any of that? What does that mean?
So when we're talking about holding back or not really addressing my desire or not addressing my attraction, if I'm being masculine or if I'm just being in my masculine, I don't have to do that. I don't have to hide anything. I can be with that. And it's also a part of...
Well, when we met, we said that we were vetting each other.
That's right.
We met, we weren't attracted to each other, and then we met again. And on the second time, I seduced him. I literally...
Oh, really?
I did.
I think there was dual seduction happening.
No, you weren't even thinking about it when I came up to you and I said, we should have a drink. Mm-hmm. And you were like, why? And I said, because I am the goddess.
That's right.
And because what you said made me wet. That was the most seductive thing I ever said to anybody. And then we vetted each other. We said, how much, have you done any training programs? Have you done this? Have you done that? And then you said, should we date?
Yeah.
So that you made your desire very clear. Yeah. It was very direct. And he walked me to my car and he said, is it okay if I kiss you? And I said, yes.
It was a good kiss.
So...
Yeah, Andy says it's not rejection. He's had 4 friends get accused of being too forward and get thrown out of a pub for literally just saying they'd want to go out for a drink. Oh my gosh! Well,
this is the effect of Me Too. This is what's going on in our world. Andy, I am so sorry to hear. Yes, men are very scared now because women have done this point the finger thing, like he's harassing me. He's a Me Too guy. We're clear about it. And it's very sad.
Well, we've got a good friend named Jared Jared Lawrence is he's a dating coach.
He's been on this show with us before.
Yeah, he's all over, and I would recommend checking him out. Jared Lawrence with a U, LAURENCE, and I think you can go to jaredlawrence.com. But yeah, it's he's had a 16-year-old son, and he's been accused of things as well.
Yeah, so is Michael's son.
Me Too, yeah, my son as well. Me Too has produced good results and and bad results. I'll say bad results because, yep, there it is. Modern Flirting. Thanks, Chrissy. Modernflirting.com. Yeah, it has produced good results and bad results. In the good results department, we see it all the time. Men who really have crossed the line, who have abused their power or have abused women in a lot of different ways. And then there are the bad results, which are women who have vindictively taken out men that didn't deserve it, who were just, I actually had this happen. I had a person who I was doing, you remember right? Anyway, where we met, the one taste. So I was doing that. Oh. Should I say it?
He was oming.
I was oming with a woman.
For those of you who know what One Taste is, it's One Taste used to be an organization that taught people how to stroke the clitoris.
Yep.
And it was called orgasmic meditation. Of course you can say it. Orgasmic meditation. One Taste isn't around anymore, but lots of people are still doing orgasmic
It's still
meditation.
a practice, and it was a practice that I was doing, and I had a woman who, and I'm not going to say who she is. I had a woman who I had agreed to stroke for, and so I did. And then after, I said, I have other techniques and other things that I can do to provide pleasure. Would you be open to that? And she was like, I didn't ask you to do anything. And I said, I know, I was making an offer here. And she got upset. And I said, hey, I retract the offer.
That's, you know why? Because you broke the One Taste container.
It was after that. It was after everything.
I know, I'm just saying, but if somebody's head has like a One Taste container around it, then offering something else.
I didn't violate anything.
No, I'm just saying, but if her head was stuck there.
Well, her head was stuck there, but the point is that I didn't violate anything. I didn't during the container in which I did exactly what we were agreed to do. But it was after that we were talking and actually just, we're hanging out. And I said, I do other things as well because I am a body worker. I do a lot of other things.
You do something called goddess massage, which is way more than One Taste, than oming.
And so she took that, and then she told other people that I had offered, and I went, whoa, and I confronted her. Like, you want to talk about confrontation? I confronted her, and I said, look, I made the offer, and then I retracted the offer after you said you weren't interested.
Yeah, don't
and I didn't
me.
Push it. So I don't appreciate you telling other people. Look, that's the bad side of the Me Too. The Me Too where that didn't actually happen. And there are men out there who have been accused of things that didn't actually happen, but it was because of the Me Too movement that they had the freedom to take a guy down. And I'm sorry, but I disagree with that. In fact, I think it's really damaging. It's damaging to the men, but it's also damaging to the women because men are scared now.
Yeah, and men are scared to be in the masculine. Just what Carezza said.
Yeah.
They're scared to show up. They're scared to show up in the masculine sometimes anyway. Mm-hmm. And now there's this Me Too thing has got everybody really crazy.
Yeah. So
other
sometimes there are other people in the world. So thank you for mentioning that. I mean, it's super important, the ability to be in your own masculine and to interact with women. Like, that is part of the juice of life, right? That's part of what makes us so human, is that we can interact with each other, male on male, male on female, etc. I mean, this is what's so juicy, and what's so scary nowadays is that people don't have a way to do it safely where, you actually can say, no, thank you.
Well, actually, we have some friends who are ISTA graduates who developed an app where you can meet people all around the world, and you can have conversations with them long before you would ever like exchange a number or say this is how you reach me or what have
Right.
you. They've made a dating app which is not like Tinder, but which allows you to get to know the person. It's still in its testing stage.
But we're going to be highlighting it here.
We will highlight it here because we want to let people know about it.
And we're going to have the creators on to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're students of ours. And Andy, I'm scared for your 16-year-old and your 12-year-old son too.
Yeah.
You know, the same women who were so angry also asked the question, where are all the good men? And I go like, they're all around you. You've just been cutting their balls off so often that you can't see that they're just standing there waiting to get a signal that it's okay to approach.
Yep.
We're in crazy times all over the place.
Yeah.
We're in crazy COVID times. We're in crazy political times. We're in crazy every kind of thing.
I'm curious to know, Andy. Andy's from the UK, or he's from England. Andy, what's the temperature like in England regarding COVID? What's going on there in this time of COVID?
It's totally lockdown.
Is
It's
that?
in total lockdown right now. By the way, the developer is in the UK.
Yeah,
The developer of the app that is in Manchester.
that's right.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So I can imagine what it's like to be a man or a woman in COVID times and to try to meet someone new or try to be with someone. I can't perceive how that would actually go. But you know what? There are people like Jared who are actually able to do that. I mean,
and some of my clients have met people during COVID because it slowed everything down. You couldn't meet. So they met on Tinder, but then they couldn't hook up. So they actually started conversing on Zoom, and some of the people that I know met some wonderful people during this time.
it's illegal in England. You can't meet anyone.
Oh, right.
I heard that you can't even stay the night at someone else's house.
Right, you can't.
Like, that's illegal. Wow. Talk about 1984.
You can't.
Scary.
So, and Andy, do your boys live with you? I mean, they can't even probably go to school. I don't know. I mean, I just know that this is a crazy time. No,
Yeah.
haven't seen.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
He hasn't seen his mom in 6 months.
oh no.
Well, we feel for you, brother.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely feel for you. Schools are closed. We feel for you, and I'm so glad you found us because maybe in the meantime, we can help.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we are going to connect. This is a part of the community. By the way, find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. It's called Extraordinary Lovers. You just go to Facebook and type in Extraordinary Lovers. There's a Facebook group and a Facebook page. These videos go up on the page. So we make sure that these are available to the people that are in our community. And we would love to have you join us. Oh, that's great. He's been with his wife for 15 years.
15 years. Good. Yeah. That's great. I hope you get. I mean, COVID has also put a lot of pressure on us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know people that have had real breakdowns as a result of COVID from being like locked up together for so long. So one of the things that Michael and I suggest, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of some of the things we suggest.
Yeah.
One of the things we suggest is if you have the room, to have separate rooms or to spend alone time when you need to as a couple, like to get away from each other.
Right.
We would do this during normal times, but now during COVID we have to do it even more.
Have a cave.
Yeah, have a cave somehow.
Have a cave that's particularly yours.
Good. Yeah. He has a study. Yeah,
that's perfect. And then also don't sleep together all the time. Laurie and I actually don't sleep together. We sleep in separate rooms, but we do come together. I mean, you can't have sex in separate rooms.
No,
I guess you can, but we don't.
You mean in liminal time?
Right. The she shed. Oh, I love that. The she shed. That's awesome. Do you have a she shed?
Yeah, my office.
Your office is your she shed.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I would like to get it on in your office.
It's too small.
You think?
Yeah. Plus, my grandfather would be watching.
Oh, that's weird. No thanks.
I have a bust of my grandfather in my office. That would be really weird for me.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it's a bust. I wouldn't care, but yeah, you would weird you out. You're like, no, stop.
My grandpa's in the room.
Right.
And he's too heavy to move.
Is he? Well, I moved him.
It's bronze with a marble base.
That's right. Well, I put it up on that other
you
thing.
did.
So yeah, I know how heavy he is. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, so let's go back to seduction as a team sport. We got way off track, but listen.
That's what this is about.
These things are so important to people. So the point we made was to forgive your past.
Yeah.
Forgive your shame. Forgive what you might have done that hurt someone else. Forgive what they might have done that hurt you.
Yeah.
Forgiveness isn't. I want to point this out. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I still haven't forgotten that guy I met in the bar. I don't even know what his name is, but he never called me. I could tell you that. If I saw him walking down the street, I wouldn't know him today.
His name is Jack.
Jack?
Yeah, last name Arse.
Anyway, forgiveness isn't for the other person. Forgiveness is for me so that I can move on and not stay in a loop with something that's meaningless to me now, or with something I did in the past which I can't go back and change. So forgiveness of self and then forgiveness of the other is really still about me.
Yeah.
It's about my self-love. So in order to make myself better, forward myself, I have to forgive those people who have trespassed me and me for trespassing people. So that, and I'm not saying this to you in a religious way, because I'm certainly not religious. I'm just saying that forgiveness is for me.
Yeah.
I have to forgive anything that happened so that I can live my life in the future.
Yeah, forgive that person you were when you did the thing that you did. That's a key way to really give yourself that kind of freedom, and the forgiveness of others. Right? I look at it like this: perhaps that person wouldn't have done those things today that they did back then, because hopefully
they've grown.
They've grown up, and so forgiving someone else is just as easy. And in the same way, you can say, I forgive that person for who they were in that moment. And I know that I actually do that for myself, because I have to go back and go, who that person was that did that thing, that awful thing, is not the person I am today.
Now.
And so I forgive that person. And then give yourself some compassion. Have compassion, not only for who you were in the moment, doing the thing, trying to survive whatever it was, but also have compassion for the person you hurt. And I think that'll be a very important step towards just freeing yourself up from this craziness of shame of the past.
And we have to forgive each other. Part of being an extraordinary lover means that we forgive each other for things that we may have done to each other without purposely wanting to hurt each other.
Yeah. I think this is a perfect time for an example of that.
Oh, right, because you were yelling at me in the car last night.
I was yelling at her in the car last night. And so
He was yelling at my driving.
So yelling is a term she uses when my tone and my voice, my tone has a certain way of being, and my elevated, but I wasn't much louder than I am now, if at all.
Yes, you were.
And what I had said to you was...
Next time I'm going to record you.
What I had said to her was, you're about to hit that car. So yeah, I elevated I said, you're about to hit that car.
No,
Stop.
First you were yelling at other cars.
Oh, that was different. I wasn't yelling at you.
I know, but you were already on a roll.
Oh, well, does that matter?
Yeah, because you were talking to me the same way you were talking to them.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking to you.
Or it occurred. Do you want to do a bubble?
I think we need to do a bubble. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the bubble.
Okay, my cough up is, you were yelling at other cars for going too slow. And then I made a U-turn, and then I turned into the parking lot where we were going, and you didn't trust that I could get into that parking space. And so you got impatient. In my perception, you got impatient with me, and I felt like you yelled.
Okay.
And so, I didn't like it, and it took me back. It reminded me of my father yelling at me when he was teaching me how to drive, and I didn't like it. And so, my request in the future is that you not yell at me, even though you think it's not yelling. And my request is that you apologize.
So I hear you saying that you didn't like me yelling, that it triggered you and made you feel like your father was yelling at you again, and that was the experience of it, and that you felt like that I didn't trust you, like your skill for driving, and that you felt was there anything else? I think that was it.
Yes, I request an apology.
I got that.
I felt like you had cortisol going in your body.
Okay, so and you felt that I had cortisol going in my body and I was unable to address you like calmly and instead of yelling at you.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I request an apology.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I yelled at you last night.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry I triggered you and made you regress back to your father, like your father was yelling at you and calling you names. I'm sorry that I didn't trust you to park the car. And I apologize. Will you forgive me?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That feels so much better in my nervous system. And I want to acknowledge that I know that you think you weren't yelling. That my perception of yelling and your perception of yelling are two different things. You just have a very booming voice.
I have a booming voice? Thank you.
You do.
Should I apologize for my booming voice?
No, your voice is wonderful.
You like my booming voice?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. So I forgive you, and I can let it go.
Thank you. Yeah, and I promise to do better when people are being idiots on the road.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I don't like it when people are idiots.
But I was driving, so I wasn't yelling. I was taking it slow.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
So I request that you not yell at other drivers.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. I'm going to be honest here. I got to tell the truth. Okay. I know you don't like it.
I don't like it.
It
just makes cortisol happen.
Yeah, it does make cortisol, but it's happening anyway. The yelling at the people.
Just do hand screams.
Isn't really helping.
You just do hand screams
while I'm driving.
No, while I'm driving.
Oh, while you're driving. I can do hand screams.
Yeah.
Okay. I would just like to put it out there to everybody.
No.
Everybody, you should know. Please don't drive stupid. So I don't have to do hand screams.
Everyone thinks that they're the best driver in the world.
I know, it's true. Yeah.
I call it driver vibe.
Driver vibe.
Yeah.
Well, my frustration really is that, people aren't paying attention, and so that's the thing I'm running. That's my narrative. People don't pay attention. They're not conscious.
You pay attention.
While
that's
driving.
all. Then you pay attention.
Right. So
it's like it to me. It's a
hold on.
It's a sideways.
I want to pop the bubble here pretty soon.
Okay.
So I want to get to the point where you really feel in your nervous system that I love you, that I care about you.
I do, but you didn't ask if you could touch me.
Oh. Sorry. I'm sorry that I touched you.
I felt like you tried to squash me.
No, I was reaching out to touch you like...
Okay. It felt like a pat.
Is that something that's wrong?
Because I was talking, I feel like you wanted me to stop talking.
Well, I want to get past this part.
Okay.
I want us to complete this part and then have a conversation with everybody else. 'Cause
Okay.
we're in the bubble and they don't exist.
Okay.
That's why. And I was touching your arm because I wanted to, like, communicate connection, love, and then get complete.
Okay.
So
I get that you love me.
My intention was not a pat or to shut you down or or to stop you.
Okay.
My intention is to complete this part of our bubble and our time, and to have return to love so that we both feel that. And that was why I reached out to you like that. Okay?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you for forgiving me. You're precious.
Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like your dad, like I'm your dad screaming at you and saying terrible things to you. I don't want that at all. What I want is for you to know that I love you and respect you, and I know that you can drive, and I know that you can park a car. It's always crooked, but you still you still successfully park it. It's so funny.
You had to get that in.
It's true.
It wasn't crooked last night.
No, it was perfect. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else?
No.
Okay.
Pop the bubble.
Pop. All right. That's how it's done, guys. To one another, simply beautiful. If I spoke like this to my wife, I think she would commit me to an institution or something. Oh my gosh. Yeah, everybody's agreeing with me. The people suck at their driving. So I'm not the only one, I guess. Well, that feels pretty good.
You might be the only one who goes crazy about it.
Yeah. So again, this is an example of how not to fight. Right?
Chris is on.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for that bubble.
Yeah. And give our love to John. Yeah. Hope he's doing well. He should be out golfing right now.
I hope so.
That's what she was saying last night, that he's going to get back out there and be able to golf with his team.
Yeah, you're the only person we communicated with while we were at the restaurant after I parked the car. I said, Michael, it's time for us to find out how John is.
Yep.
Too many days have passed.
That's right.
And he picked up the phone, which I hate when we're out to dinner. He picked up the phone. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm communicating with Chris. So, anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Chrissy says, it took a partner whose nervous system cannot handle my yelling for me to calm down while driving. Wow.
Yes, thank you. But here's my point, and this really is my point. It's not only the partner's nervous system, it's the nervous system of the person who's yelling.
Yeah.
Like if you're yelling at other drivers, good, just got back from golf. Yay.
Yay.
If you're yelling at other drivers, your nervous system can't handle it either. That is my point.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You need to do emotional release and get rid of that extra baggage that is causing the cortisol while you're driving. You know, like, who cares? Like, I'm a super fast, I'm a New York driver. You know what I mean? I am. And my eyesight's not that great lately. I'm going to be having eye surgery in February.
Yep.
So I've slowed down a lot because I realize that my perception isn't as good as it used to be. And I know that it's going to be better when I have the eye surgery. That's what they told me anyway. So I'm looking forward to having better eyesight. But in the meantime, I'm going slow. So why is he yelling at those drivers? They were on the other side of the road. Anyway, we're not going back there again.
Do we need another bubble?
No.
Is that what we're going
No,
with?
hand scream. You could have hand screamed last
Yes.
night. I was driving.
I want you to hand scream right now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. As much as we'd like to continue in this, no, we're going to shift gears again and get back to seduction as a team sport. So there's 3 ways that we take seduction to the next level. The first way is seduction before sex. Seduction before sex, or before we have a sexual experience, we tend to do different things like texting and the things that we mentioned before having
writing
sex, and it
chapters,
might be days. It might
writing
be days.
chapters to each other, sending little short porn clips.
Yeah, writing little love notes, putting them on her laptop. Sending her text messages, cute little text messages. I love you. I think your butt looks great today in that dress. My favorite one is, I love that outfit you're wearing. I think it's going to look good on my bedroom floor. That's one of my favorites.
Yes. And I like sending red lips.
Oh, yeah. Kissy faces.
On text messages.
So that's before having sex. But during sex, you can also continue the seduction. It's not like the seduction turns off once you're getting it on, right? Now's the best time to begin to really express your seduction. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of ways to do that. Moaning is a good way. Numbers is another way.
Right, numbers.
Being playful. Creating an environment that's like really safe, really juicy. Having the masculine truly be holding space for the feminine to go and do whatever the feminine does. And this is some of the tantra speak that you may hear us do. We don't tout this TV show as a tantra show, but we do live this tantra thing, this thing we call tantra. We live it, and it's a part of the practice. And so some of the stuff that we mentioned may sound like what, but
it's where we really honor each other.
Yeah.
We honor each other as partners. We honor each other for our differences. Mm-hmm. We honor each other for, I don't expect him to be just like me. I don't expect him to be like any of my girlfriends.
I hope
but women often expect the man in their life to be, why isn't he like my girlfriends? Well, he's not your girlfriend. So
like a hairy version of the girlfriend.
Like, I honor you for being who you are, different from me. And you honor me for who I am, being different from you. Mm. And we come together on the places where those differences feel good. We come together in the places and we work out the places where it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, and we're committed to return to love.
Yes, every time.
Every time.
Return to love, return to love, return to love. How can we return to love?
We've had these really crunchy times. Every couple has them. We've had these really crunchy times where we're both like just settled in our way. We're not giving we're not going to budge. And then one of us says, hey, how are we going to return to love? How do we return to love in this? So if that's your motivation, your motive is to always return to love, then there are really simple ways to be able to do that. And part of it is what we just showed you. And once that's out of the way, oh my God, seduction is so much easier. Making love is so much easier. Being playful, being funny. If you got shit against each other, even your jokes, your comedy are not going to be received well. Until you remove that out from between you, whatever that is in the space that's holding you back from each other,
the withholds.
If you don't get that out of the way, if you don't dig it up and get it out of the way, move that emotion, I'm telling you, even your jokes are going to sound like terrible to people.
Yeah. The person doesn't want to participate.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay. This is interesting. Where is he going?
I had to get my phone.
Oh. So I can just say, if somebody's in a position and being righteous about it, they're not going to like anything. Mm. They're not going to like the jokes. He needs to get his wife to watch this.
Get her on.
Yeah, definitely. Get her on. We want to meet her.
Absolutely.
Why not? I mean, that's what we're doing. Oh, you weren't on, Andy, in the beginning when we said we think couples are an endangered species.
Absolutely.
So we do. We think that couples are, they should be on the list with turtles and Bengal tigers and the things that seem to be going extinct on this planet because we think couples are really endangered. And we're trying, I think we're more than trying, we're providing solutions.
Right.
We are providing solutions based on our combined knowledge. Mm-hmm. And we've paid a lot of prices and a lot of dues to be who we are right now.
How many relationships does it take to get to a place where you can stop destroying relationships. It's like how many licks does it take to get to the bottom of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? It's like, I mean, I've crashed. I don't know. I crashed a 16-year marriage, and didn't really learn how to be in a relationship until well after that.
Right.
So
Well, I said last night in the incident in the car,
the car incident.
I said it's a really good thing that I've learned patience.
Yeah.
Over the years, like I didn't yell back at you.
That's right.
I just got out and went to dinner.
Thank you for not yelling at me.
Yeah. I didn't. But that would have escalated things.
Sure would have.
I could imagine that in your old life or in my old life, that would have been an occasion to yell back.
It would have been a fight.
And then the fight would have happened. Then we wouldn't have gone into the restaurant. We wouldn't have had this wonderful Italian food. And we wouldn't have texted Chris to find out how John is. Like, we wouldn't have done any of the things that we did. So,
Chrissy writes, I'm so grateful to have met you this early in my life. Honestly, I'm grateful for you both. I just realized I need to stop beating myself up. Oh, please stop beating yourself up.
Do not beat yourself up,
Yeah.
No, listen, Chrissy, this is the stuff that we should have learned in 7th grade.
Right.
When I was 11 years old and you were 11 years old and Michael was 11 years old, which was all a different time. But when we get to 11 and we're just about coming into puberty, a lot of kids are reaching puberty earlier these days because of the hormones in the food. Don't get me on another soapbox. But when you reach the time where you're about to start interacting with people and possibly dating them and going out with them, you should have learned this. They teach us geometry, trigonometry, a foreign language. They teach us, grammar and literature and all these subjects that they think we need. Meantime, we need to know how to relate to people. And we don't get taught about it. I don't know why, Andy. I really don't know. I was a school teacher. I used to teach 5th and 6th grade in the United States in Washington, D.C., and my kids were just about 10, 11, and 12, and they were about to go into junior high, what we call here in the States junior high, 7th grade. And that's the time they needed to learn this. And they didn't. Now those kids were lucky because they had me. So I taught them some life skills. These are real life skills that people need, and they don't learn. They learn after a divorce. They learn because they've been through so many hookups.
Yeah.
That they're so hurting now. You've hooked up and hooked up and hooked up, and nobody texted you back. You got ghosted. You ghosted somebody. All these things, and you're like, how do I call this game off? And what would I even do if I called the game off? Because I'd never learned anything else. So that's what we're here to teach. Michael and I teach extraordinary lovers. We also are part of the teaching team of sex and happiness.
Right.
I'm part of ISTA faculty, which is International School of Temple Arts, and we literally teach people about their bodies, about their self, about their boundaries, about their traumas, about all the things that happen before they get into this is real adult education.
Right.
This isn't
how to be an adult.
How to be a real adult, and it should have been taught to us when we were in 7th grade. Yeah, wow, I'm glad, Chrissy.
And this is a lesson that you'll be able to take into the next relationships, however many they are, and actually really succeed in being related to yourself, self-love, and being able to relate with them. That's so good. I'm really like I can mourn and grieve over past relationships, and as long as I've learned something that can forward me some way, then I feel like it was well worth the time spent in that relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah. I honor the past. I honor those people who. Thank you, Chris.
I ding the bell, Chris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Honor those loves of the past. And
listen, one of my loves of the past introduced me to Chris. So there's a ding right there.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not in a relationship with him anymore. I mean, we're friends, but he introduced us, and you're still in my life, a valuable contributor to my life, and me yours.
Oh, Andy says, I'm trying to teach my children, but I think it's one of those things they have to learn themselves. What do you think? Well, we could spend some time on this subject. This is one of my deepest commitments, is to ensure that young men especially learn this stuff, and young women, but young men especially, because I know for myself that without having some of this relationship knowledge and also just the sex talk, like I've asked over 300 men and women. I do surveys. This is one of the research ways that I research things. And in 2017, I did a survey, pretty big one, where I asked over 300 men and women if they'd ever gotten the talk by their parents, the sex talk. And over 70% said no. They had never gotten the sex talk. And most of those people, I'm thinking to myself, well, then how did you learn it? And like you just said, you got to kind of learn it on your own. And
you hurt so much in that learning, because adults could have provided you with some really important information.
Yeah.
I want to tell him, though, that we have Scott.
Oh, that's right, Scott Kaltenbach.
In my apprentice, I currently
and he's coming on the show.
Yeah, Andy, I currently have an apprentice program. It's called the Sex and Happiness Apprentice Program, where people are learning my teachings, and then they're taking them into their various coaching practices and into their facilitation. And one of those people, name is Scott Kaltenbach, and Scott works with young men.
Yeah.
He does young men's groups, and you had to talk with the kids about 8. Oh, awesome.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
And it's ongoing education. It's continuing
ongoing.
education.
It's
so
continuous.
Keep having that conversation.
Anyway, Scott is when is Scott coming on the show?
He's in a few weeks.
Okay, so we'll have to have you back again, Andy.
Yeah.
Because Scott will be on the show, and he's going to talk about some of the things that he's doing with young men.
We should also probably mention, and this is so good, we should also probably mention the time change that's going to happen in a couple of weeks. But
in March?
In a couple of weeks.
The time change. I thought you meant like daylight savings.
No. The show time changes.
Didn't I say at the beginning of the show that I feel like Gracie Allen?
Yeah,
and you're
you
like
did.
George Burns.
Yeah, the talk is one of those things that that has to be ongoing. It's because there's always new information. So and I think it's age appropriate as well. It needs to be age appropriate.
Yeah,
so
at 8 you would say some things, but at 12 you would say some other things.
Right.
Whatever.
And so these are the things that I think are really important to make sure that we continue to do that. And I approached it this way with my kids because the first talk I ever had with my son was I literally told him tab A goes into slot B. You got it? And he goes, yeah, Dad, I think I got it. He was 13 years old. He had already had sex, so he knew what I was talking about. I didn't give him a good talk. But after that, after I got educated myself and I started to really learn more about what this thing is called sex, I then started to have conversations with my kids. My daughter was younger, so I started to have conversations with my kids that started out with me saying, hey, I need to have an adult conversation with you. And they would look at me and go, an adult conversation? And I say, yes. And it's about sex. So we're going to have an adult conversation about sex. Are you up for that? And they were like, yeah. And so then I started to slowly give them information that they needed to actually have a healthy sexual outlook. And so that they didn't have to experience shame and trauma or cause shame or trauma. Like those were the reasons why I was sharing this information with my kids, and my kids are like they're solid now. My daughter actually happens to be in our Sex and Happiness program.
Yeah, his daughter is our student.
Yeah,
and she's really getting, she's getting all the stuff. She's in her early 20s, and
she's in college, and she's amazing.
And she's really awesome. She's really taken, but your son and his wife and his one son came to our class.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give this education to young people as well.
Yeah, and I encourage you, my brother, please continue to have the conversations with them. Let them know it's an adult conversation. You know, your 16-year-old will probably be up for that. But yeah, it's a new way of doing things that I think is much more healthy than just hoping they get it right. You know what I mean? But yeah, college means something completely different here. Yeah, I get that.
We know.
My daughter finished her primary school and then she went on to college, which I guess is grades 13 through whatever. Right.
And part of it she did in Germany.
Yeah, part of it she was in Germany. So yeah. What else?
Anyway, it's really important, and I'm hoping that you come back when Scott comes onto our show, because he'll be speaking about his work with young men. Yeah,
I'm very excited too. I got a call with him this week, so we're going to get that all sorted out this week.
Okay, that's great.
Yep,
that's really, really great.
Another thing that we've thought about doing is also having panels. And so a men's panel, a women's panel, a couples panel, where we have people come on and we just have a discussion with them about some of the things that we've been talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that we're really committed to is this is a safe space for you to have a conversation about sex, and a place where it's going to be family friendly. So if you were to bring your kids on, they could talk to us. They could share in the chat if they wanted to. That's completely available here. And that's why we're on this platform. Twitch is a great platform to be able to actually have people come and learn more about sex education. That's one thing. But then also how to couple up, how to actually survive and succeed as a couple or as a throuple. We'll talk to some people about what it means to be in a polyamorous relationship and how to be successful in that as well. So this is why we're here.
Yeah. Although one of our friends, when you did my birthday show, one of our friends' 15-year-old daughter was in the room when they were waiting to come on to say happy birthday to me.
Oh.
And we said some things about sex, and she got a little miffed by that. She didn't want to be in the same room with her parents when people were talking about sex. So that's why they got off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. You're telling me this for the first time.
One of my friends was on, and I was like waving to all these people who were on Zoom coming on to the show, to people that I knew in my life from all over the world who were wishing me happy birthday. And there was a mystery, like we kept getting in a mystery about one of my friends getting off the call right away, getting off Zoom without saying anything. Yeah. And it was because his daughter was in the room.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, his daughter.
I think I know who you were talking about too, by the way.
His daughter was in the room, and
formal apology happening right now for you, young lady. I'm sorry.
I don't think they're listening right now,
not.
But his daughter was in the room, and I was saying things because I had just come from doing a presentation on how I biohack my life.
Right.
And I was talking about sex. And then there were people on like Tyron and, people that I flirt with. And so she got really uncomfortable, and then they had to go.
Well,
but we don't want that. We want people's
them
kids
to
be
stay.
comfortable with us.
And that's part of the normalization of this conversation. Andy, thank you so much for saying that. He said you guys have some amazing ideas and talking points. Thank you for saying that. We appreciate that.
Hey, I'm going to ding you, Andy. Thank
you got dinged, bud. That's awesome.
And Chrissy says she would die of embarrassment if her parents were anywhere near in the room with her talking about sex.
Well, let me give you some of what's possible. When I had the talk with my daughter, I said to my daughter, she was 18 at the time, and I had said to my daughter, I said, there are some things that you need to know about sex, and one of them is that boys really want to get it right. And so I gave her advice on how to make sure that she's communicating during sex so that the boy gets it right and that the young man gets it right and that he feels like he's getting it right. And so she took that advice. She was a virgin at the time. She said to me after that talk, she said, Dad, thank you so much for this. She said, and I'll let you know when it happens.
Oh my God, this is a good story.
And I said, okay, no problem. A couple months go by. and she's in university. She's up in Flagstaff. She sends me a text in the middle of the night. I didn't get it. Like, I didn't see it until the next morning. And the text is like really vague. What are you, like, I had no idea what something. And I said, oh my gosh. So I call her right away on the phone. Honey, is everything okay? And she said, yeah. And I go, because I got a text from you. It was like 2 a.m. last night that you sent it. And she goes, Dad, I told you. And I said, told me what? She said, I told you I would let you know when it happened. And I went, oh, you let me know when it happened. and we had a lively conversation. No details. I said, well, I said, okay, how was it? I was hoping that it was good. And she said, yeah, it was a solid 5. And I went, solid first time. Solid 5? First time? What was your first time like? She got a 5, guys. So I was really, really happy for her. And since then, my daughter's now 22. And
she's 23.
She's 23. So since then, my daughter and I have kept having these conversations, and I don't give her advice. We just talk. And I think it's, and you said it was a -5. Oh my gosh, Chrissy said was like a -1,000. Oh, I don't give her advice. We just talk. And she tells me, she's openly bisexual. She's not telling me details. I don't really want to know details, but she's telling me I have a good sex life. I have a number of partners. I really like this. I don't like that. And then we talk about, what are some of the solutions. But it's an ongoing conversation, and it's an adult conversation.
Oh, yeah, no question.
That's what's really important.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say that I had to advise my father, so.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
So my mother died when she was 72, and my father was 72. And so actually he was 73 at the time, and he had to start his whole life again. And he said, and after the mourning and grieving happened, he came to me because he knew what I did. I was a Tantra teacher. So he said to me, what should I do? And I said to him, well, first of all, he was dating women who were like my age. So I said to him, first of all, you should buy condoms. And he was like, what? And I said, Dad, there's things around right now that weren't around when you were growing up. We have AIDS. We have other things, you need to take precautions. He was like, I said, plus you're dating women who could still get pregnant. Do you want more children? He was like, no. So I said, so you need to take responsibility for birth control. I said, because some of these women want to marry you. You're a really eligible widow. And so he was like, oh my God, Laurie, what are you talking about? And I said, you need to take precautions. That was one. And then I said, and you need to come to class. So my father became my student. He learned Tantra. And then in his, somewhere around 74, 75, he met another woman who became the love of his life. And he had a very healthy sex life all the way into his 80s. And I'm a firm proponent of that. And when he had problems, he asked me about them. So I feel like we've done the same thing, only the opposite. I did it with my father, and you did it with your daughter.
Yep. My son as well. I mean, I won't tell the whole story about my son, but I gave him a better version of the sex talk. But he was 20. He was 21, I think, at the time.
Better than slot tab A goes into slot B.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, so this leads me to I just feel like it's important to mention it. A lot of what we teach right here, what we're sharing with you right now, these anecdotes, we actually have a curriculum that we teach called Extraordinary Lovers Experience. And this is actually, we've scheduled one for February 13th and 14th. For Valentine's Day. The weekend. And we would love to invite all of you to join us for that. ELE is really the core of what we teach. And we give you the mechanisms and what you saw here, the bubble and the other things, to be able to really return to love. And make it simple so that it's not like this hard thing to do, to learn or do. and that you can make it a practice. And so we touch all three thresholds. We go through all three thresholds of love: self-love, love of your partner, and then love that manifests. And we have a weekend and then 4 group weeks or 4 group meetings after that. And it's all via Zoom. So from anywhere in the world, you can join us. And we'd love to have you join us for that Extraordinary Lovers Experience.
Are you going to can you put that in the chat?
Let me put the link to find out more. Click on that link right now and you'll find out more. There's more information on that site that'll tell you what it's all about, what we do, how we bring this information to you. So yeah, it's important. Also, the other thing that we're about to do is we're about to change broadcast stream times. So right now we're at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. In 2 more weeks, so I think that's February 5th, we're going to be going from this time frame to 2 hours later. So in other words, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
We did that for you, Chris.
We did that for a number of people, but Chris is definitely one of them. Yes. So we're making that available to a later audience. We felt like we'd like to have some more people be able to watch and interact with us, so that's why we're doing it.
I don't know how that's going to affect Careza because she's in Europe, so it's pretty late for her right now.
Yeah, well, we're hoping, Careza, that maybe you'll sit down with a glass of wine and hang out with us.
And do strip whatever poker it was. Strip
Uno. Strip poker, strip Uno, strip twister.
Strip
no,
twister.
That's naked twister. Sorry, naked twister. Yeah, and Andy says, he should be able to do that.
Okay, good.
That's
in
great.
England, it wouldn't be too late. Yeah. That's great. And maybe your wife can join you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. So thank you so much for this wonderful talk today.
You're welcome.
And for coughing it up.
You're welcome. Oh, Careza will be there. All right. I'm ringing the bell for all these people who are going to be there. New time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern, starting February 5th.
Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you for putting that up.
Thanks.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to it. And if you have any questions or anything like that, before or after she kills me in the meantime.
And Chris is saying thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Chrissy, it occurs to me that your parents should come to my Sex and Happiness Over 60, but I don't think that your parents probably are 60.
Yeah.
Maybe your parents are 50. So, we said in an email that they could be 55 or over. And if they're close to that, maybe it would be good for them to join me in a class. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. She's saying before, Andy, before she kills you. Yeah, I'm going to be doing, your dad's 63 and your mom's 57. So, hey, that's my population. I mean, that's my other population.
Right.
Besides you. So, I'd love to have my hands on them, I don't know if they'd love me to have my hands on them, but...
Trust me, you want to have her hands on you.
Yeah. But, I could help, and they could get, an education.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and the next week when we meet again, we're going to deepen this conversation a little bit. Maybe we'll even talk about, how to keep things spicy in the relationship. I have a concept that I feel like is true. Everybody needs a little strange. Everybody from, kings and queens to colonels and doctors, everybody needs a little strange. To tantra teachers, to network engineers, everybody needs a little strange. Well, what does that mean? Well,
we're going to talk about
check out
that
next week and find out.
Yeah, we'll talk about
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you want to share?
I think I'm good. I feel like we really talked about seduction as a team sport, and we went off on some tangents that were really relevant. Yes, a bit kinky. Yeah, people might need that kind of strange. They need to, when are we having Om Rupani on?
We'll have to ask Chrissy. She's setting that up for us.
Okay.
I don't know.
So we are going to have my partner that I teach Tantra meets BDSM with. By the way, we teach, before COVID, we taught it in the UK. We were in the UK 2 or 3 times teaching Tantra Meets BDSM, and we taught it in Amsterdam, and we taught it in Vienna. So we were over in Europe teaching before the COVID shut it down. We were also in other parts of the Commonwealth, Australia, New Zealand, and Bali was never part of the Commonwealth.
Well,
but anyway, so we were doing that, and then Michael and I had all these plans to be in other parts of the world with extraordinary lovers, and that got shut down too. But we have some plans for this year, assuming we can get in. We don't know yet, but we're planning in the summer, in August, to be in Berlin.
That's right.
So we'll be doing a festival in Berlin,
and then we'll be doing a live Extraordinary Lovers Experience.
And Ohm will be with us too, and Ohm and I will be doing Tantra Meets BDSM. Yeah, band here, I'm afraid. Well, for right now, but our spirits are high, our hopes are high.
We're hoping that that things will loosen up, and it's a difficult time right now, guys. We're with you. It's probably one of the hardest times. It is one of the hardest times.
I think it's the hardest time in history
I've ever had in my lifetime.
Besides wartime.
And the lockdowns, although they're occurring, I don't see them making a whole lot of sense. The herd immunity that we need to achieve in order for this to to wind down. They're going to try it with vaccines. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's not go down that route.
I know. We'll see what happens, but it's a tough time right now, and we want to travel. We want to go to Europe. We want to spend time in England. We want to do all these things, and once things loosen up, we're packing our bags. Like, maybe a year, Andy. Maybe a year.
We don't know. We
shall see.
But expect that we'll be there at some point. We will.
Yeah.
I mean, I have plenty of reason to be there, and I want to take Michael there. He's never been there, so
yeah, I want to go there because I've never been there. Yeah, I want to go back to Florida as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that we can do.
We can do that.
We can do that.
We can go to Miami. We can go to a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, so it's coming on time to wrap up.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
It was really fun today, really lively. Thank you. You'll be there. Great.
Yes.
We will listen. You have my word. We'll be there.
Yep.
We're even looking at alternative ways to get there, to go around the system. I just want you to know that. John got a vaccine yesterday, and you're going Tuesday. Hopefully, they're safe. Yeah, We're not going to explore that on this show. We don't know how we feel about that. Well, but
I know how I feel about that.
Yeah. They don't know.
Please monitor yourself as much as possible.
Yes.
Christine. I'm really concerned about this experimental vaccine. It's concerning to me.
Yeah, watch your health very closely. Watch
very,
all
very
your
careful.
signs, all your vital signs.
So,
yes.
And also stay safe. You may want to quarantine even though you got the vaccine. As I understand it, the vaccine will give you immunity after 2 to 4 weeks. So if at all possible, you want to stay as close in as you can for those 2 to 4 weeks while the vaccine begins to populate through your body and do the things it's supposed to do. It's going to be illegal to come to England without a vaccine. Yeah,
we don't know yet. We don't know. I mean, if that's the talk, that's the talk, but we still don't know. We don't know if that's legal.
We're staying ahead of this as much as we can.
Yeah.
And so, and do the same thing. Really be safe. Really wash your hands. Sunlight. Oh my gosh. Sunlight is what you need. It is so beneficial. Vitamin D, they're finding vitamin D is a really, really good
preventive.
Vitamin. Yeah, it's preventative, and it's also has a healing, specifically with COVID.
And so good because Chris and John are in Florida, so they get a lot of
be out
sun.
In the sun.
But he's in England, and there's not a lot of sun until June.
Yeah, it looks like they're putting some things into the law in England
in
as
England,
well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stay in the sunlight as much as possible. Absolutely.
They won't have that. Right now they have.
I got a video I want to show you about vitamin D, by the way.
I saw it.
By Dr. Berg. Oh, it's so good.
I saw it.
All right.
Okay, we're going. Yeah, no sun. So be careful.
Be
That's
outside
all.
as much as you can. And
Yeah, yeah.
It's rainy right now in England. Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here with us. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us, for following us, Andy. It was such a delight to have you with us. Everybody else, we love you as always. Careza, you're a ray of sunshine to us.
Yes.
Christine, thank you so much for being with us again. We love you. And I'm sure Liz is on there. And Tanya. Thank you, Tanya.
I don't know if Liz is on or Tanya's on, but they might be. So we love you.
And Chrissy, thank you so much. We love you.
We can't play our bumper for you right now, or our commercial. So we'll play next week. It'll all be sorted out. Okay.
All right. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Oh, zinc.
Oh, that's right, zinc.